So it's my pleasure to introduce Katja Törmänen. Did I pronounce that correctly? Törmänen?
Sorry?
Well, I'm trying to pronounce your name, Katja. It's a Finnish name.
Sorry, no.
Törmänen.
Törmänen, yes.
So,
it's a bit hard, yes.
It's a bit hard. So Katja has practiced the Sedona Method for 10 years in August, and she's been holding workshops for 3 years. She's a trained facilitator. She's taken the facilitator training course several times. And if I'm not mistaken, she's just published a book about the Sedona Method in Finnish.
Yes.
So welcome, Katja. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
allow you to take over the call now, and there you go.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so very pleased to be here today. Very nice to see you or hear you all. And the call goes as support calls go. So you have something you want to share or get assistance with, raise your hand or just start talking. We are so few that we probably can just, you can raise your hand or just ask what you want assistance with, and then we'll go from there. Or if nobody has any issues, then we can. Okay, Evelyn, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm very new to releasing. I just did the money course. I haven't read any books, but I've watched a lot of videos. And I spontaneously jumped on because I've realized that sometimes I release by myself with videos or whatever. And sometimes I get very sad. And this happened yesterday, and I'm still very sad today. That's why I'm not showing the video, because I didn't even get dressed today. I got some stuff done, but I didn't have to go out. So I think that's very bad. So I'm just kind of wondering. Yeah, I'm probably resisting releasing, or I don't know what, but it has happened before, and so that's what I need help with.
Okay. First of all, I think it's quite common that when you start releasing, it kind of takes away the topmost feelings, and it's kind of like frees the way for new feelings or new layers of feelings to come up. So in a way, it's a good sign. It's just showing that things are coming up to be released, as that's the one thing we are in this community taught, that feelings only come up, negative feelings, to be released. So you are doing just fine in that sense. But since it's not always nice, we of course can release on that sadness or whatever that brings up. Would that be okay?
Yes, that would be all right.
Okay. So you're feeling the sadness now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start so that for the moment, would you just first let yourself be? Just stop and be. And then just notice, how do you feel now? What thoughts or memories, expectations, sensations are rising up this moment?
My throat feels kind of constricted.
Yes.
I'm very somatic in my reactions with any type of method. So
okay.
And the only way that I could actually even let myself be was to concentrate on my breathing.
Okay, that's fine. If it helps, go ahead. The only reason we don't have in Sedona Method any kind of instructions how to release any kind of breathing or posture directions is that because that we don't want to give the impression that there's only certain way of releasing, that you can't let go unless you breathe in a certain way or sit in a certain way. But if it helps, go ahead and use that. So would you say that it's the constriction in the throat that's the main thing at the moment, or is there something else too?
Kind of say that's the main thing. It's at the top of the throat, and as I say, it got a little bit better because I'm concentrating on the breathing, which is a nice discovery, by the way.
Okay, good. Brilliant. So could you just notice or welcome that constriction on the throat? Just notice how it feels.
Yes.
And then, as best you can, could you let go of it?
I think it's what we call in German, yes, no, jein.
Yes, exactly. So if you could, would you?
Yes.
And when?
Something says soon, but
And when does the soon come? Which question just reminds you that the actually only time you can do anything like release is now. So if you are planning to release later or next week or at the end of the month, it doesn't really help you now. And you probably want to feel better now, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So focus on the sensation again. What's here now? Just notice it. And could you just welcome however it feels? And then could you let it go as best you can?
it feels like there's some sort of residue. It's getting better, but it's like there's something there, and it moved from the top to the middle of the throat.
Okay. It often happens, but it's quite normal that you have to go a few rounds to get release something. It's not always in the first few questions. So it's perfectly fine. So could you just notice where that sensation is now and welcome that? And could you let it go as best you can? And would you let it go? Are you willing to let it go?
Not completely.
So would you rather hold on to that feeling?
What's getting in the way is I'm trying to understand it, and I sometimes when I breathe, I can let go of wanting to understand it, but then I'm pretty cerebral, so I like to analyze things and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you let go of the belief that you need to understand what it's about or why it's there in order to let it go.
That's very difficult. I'm being very honest.
Yes, okay. So could you welcome how important it feels to know why it's there, what it means?
Yes, I could.
Yes. And as best you can, could you let go of thinking it's important? Just for now. You can always go back to that later. And would you let go of that? And when?
Well, part of me is smiling and saying as soon as possible.
Good. Good. Okay. And then again, would you notice however it feels right now? Just notice whatever is arising this moment. Is there still the physical sensation?
It's very small, and it's in one of my tonsils, kind of weird. So, but it's gotten a lot smaller than it was. Yeah.
Good. So could you welcome however it feels this moment? And then could you let that sensation go as best you can? Are you thinking about it, Evelyn?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very grateful that you didn't ask me to answer all this time, because it's very difficult to answer you and to, try to follow the steps. So thank you very much for that.
Okay. Just a kind reminder that you do this releasing by heart. You don't have to think about it. Thoughts come and go, but releasing is kind of a letting go. You don't have to actually even do anything. You stop doing, stop holding on in a way. And just also reminding you can't do it wrong. You're always doing the best you can.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. And then I think Dewey. Do I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Dewi.
Dewey. Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. I feel a bit bad about not having been able to release very much over the last months, years actually, and it's biting me a bit in the bum. And I've had quite a lot of things happening in my life, but and recently, last week, I lost my dog, which is very traumatic. And I don't know, it's just like what I would like to do, have some help with is like I'm living in a place where I've never felt welcome, and I'm not happy, and my landlord is getting really, a bit more awkward by the day, and I feel like I just want to move on and move out, but it's like at the moment in New Zealand, the whole situation, there's a lot of stuff happening, and with the cyclone and what have you, and the possibility of finding a place to live is getting smaller and smaller by the sound of it, because lots of people lost their homes and what have you, and also the economic situation is quite tricky.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a little bit caught up, or how do you call it, a bit trapped and very be left to the elements literally. And my landlord is I don't know, he's not straightforward, and it's just always a bit of a spiteful situation. I feel quite unsafe, and it doesn't feel right to be here, and I just want to get out of here.
Okay. All right. So would you also then just stop by letting yourself stop and be for the moment?
Oh, can I just add one other thing?
Yeah.
I've the last shock has been really spun me into a physical state where I feel like I was pre-diabetic, but it feels like I've got diabetes now, so I've got these spikes in my I think blood sugar level, and at times I feel like just keel over and I'm just going to collapse.
Okay. So there's a lot going on, to put it mildly. Okay. So allow yourself first to just stop and be. Just sit back and be. And then would you just think about that story you told me, all the things involved, all the memories, pictures, sounds, sensations, everything that arises, and just notice how it all spins.
Yeah.
And then would you welcome if there's any wanting to do anything with or about it? Any wanting approval, control, safety, separation, or oneness that's connected to that?
The pushing away is wanting separation, isn't it?
Yes. And could you welcome that wanting separation?
Yeah.
And then would you welcome how personal it all feels?
It's also like a feeling, a sense of no control over the situation.
Yes. So welcome that feeling controlled or wanting control too.
Yeah.
And then would you notice all the space and peace that's beyond?
There's a lot of feelings coming up. A feeling of frustration, anger, and
It's understandable. So could you welcome all of those?
Yeah.
And then would you welcome if there's any sense that you shouldn't feel that way, or it would be better to feel some other way?
There's a sense of having no control because I had a brain injury in 2007, and it's like over the last few months I felt like I've got no control over what's happening in my brain, and it's like it feels I'm losing my mind and I'm losing my memory.
Okay. So is that welcomed? Could you welcome all of that?
Yeah.
And then would you welcome if there is wanting control, wanting to be safe?
Yeah.
And just for now, could you let go, wanting control? Which again doesn't mean you lose control, but it means you let go of wanting it, feeling you don't have it.
There's more like a shock about. I felt like I was going dement,
Mhm.
and I'm losing my mind, and that's one of the fears of coming up, that I'm actually not aware anymore what I'm doing or not doing.
So would you welcome, if there's fear, there's probably wanting safety, is there?
Yeah.
Mhm. And then for the moment, could you see if you could give yourself the safety you need? Just this moment.
Not at this moment, no.
Can you find the safe feeling this moment? Sorry, I didn't hear you now.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
No, because it feels like my body is falling apart. It's like,
Mhm. So those sensations, could you just notice them?
yeah,
And then could you notice the space that surrounds those sensations? The space in your body, the space around you.
very slowly something is happening. So yeah.
Mhm. And again, notice the sensations on your body.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of resistance coming up, because it feels like my body just wants to rest, because like at times I've got so much palpitation. I feel like I'm actually going to die.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And would you just welcome that too? Allow the resistance to be here.
Yeah.
And again, would you notice the space that's around your body, around those sensations, and around those thoughts and feelings?
No, all I want is I want to get out of here.
Okay. So would you welcome how much you want to get out of here?
Yeah.
And then could you welcome how much you want to stay where you are, even if just a little bit?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. So welcome again how much you want to get out of here.
Yeah.
And then would you notice how personal that feels?
Yeah, it doesn't feel personal, but it also feels like I'm not too sure whether I'm actually avoiding it by being in Norland, or yeah.
Mm-hmm. So welcome those thoughts as part of the resistance or whatever is happening right now too.
Okay.
And is there any wanting to change how you feel right now?
Yes.
And could you welcome that?
Yeah.
And just for the moment, could you let go of wanting to change what is?
Yeah.
Good. And would you let go of wanting to change?
Yeah.
And when?
Now.
And again, notice how are you feeling right now?
a big mixed bundle. I feel quite upset, angry, and wishing it was all different.
Yes, good. So it's coming up to be released. So could you welcome all of that?
Yeah, what comes up, it maybe say I don't know anymore what normal is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is there wanting to figure that out?
I'd like to. Yeah.
Yes. And would you welcome wanting to figure out what the normal is?
Yeah.
And just for now, could you let go of wanting to figure that out?
Yeah.
And then is there still wanting to change the way things are?
Yes.
And could you let go, just for now, wanting to change how things are?
Yeah.
And could you let go of wanting to change how things are a little bit more?
Yeah.
And still a little bit more.
Yeah.
And would you be open, just for now, to let things be as they are?
Yeah. Okay.
Good. And would you be open to the possibility that things might unfold even better than you can imagine?
Yes.
Good. And now, how does it feel now?
Picture of how do you call it, the square peg in a round hole.
Sorry, no, I didn't hear you properly.
A picture of a square peg in a round hole.
Oh, okay. Okay. And is there any wanting to do anything about that picture? Those?
No, it's more a realization, and it's yeah.
Good. So would you allow that to be as it is too?
Yeah.
And would you be open to letting the life unfold as it does?
Yes.
Good. So how is it now?
The desire to follow that letting go, and but also the desire to just pack up, put things away, and hit the road, and not knowing where I'm going. It sounds a little bit unnerving because I feel very vulnerable in that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So would you be open to things unfolding well in every area of
Yes.
your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
And releasing, so it is a brilliant support.
Yeah.
In whatever you
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, does anyone else have anything they'd like assistance with? Casey?
Yes, actually, Richie. I wanted to request facilitation support for two challenges that I would like to solve.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, now I don't hear you.
Yes,
Now it's better. Yeah.
requesting assistance for two challenges that I'd like to solve.
Two challenges. Okay. You want to tell anything else? So we work from that.
No, it's two different things, and it would just go into story, but it's
Okay.
two problems basically.
Okay. So, would you allow yourself to sit back and be for a moment? And then would you notice what those two challenges bring up in your mind at this moment?
Yes.
And is there any wanting to do anything with or about it? Any wanting approval, control, safety, separation, or oneness? Or anything else connected to those things?
Yes.
And could you just welcome wanting?
Yes.
And then could you welcome how personal it feels?
Yes.
And then could you notice the peace and space that's beyond all that spin, that's in no way affected by any of it?
Yes.
And then again, think about those challenges and notice, how do they feel now?
Burdensome.
Burdensome. Okay. So, would you welcome how burdensome they feel?
Yes.
And is there any expectation that it'll be hard or too hard for you go through them?
Yes.
And just for now, could you let go of expecting trouble?
Yes.
And then is there any sense that you think you know how those things will unfold?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting to believe those scenarios the mind brings up?
Yes.
And would you be open to allowing those things you call challenges to just unfold effortlessly, easily, and just as they do?
Yes.
And would you open up to your inner courage and acceptance and peace?
Yes.
So how does it feel now? How does it feel now when you think about those things?
Let me see. Like pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure to do something.
Okay. So could you welcome the pressure to do something?
Yes.
And is there right this moment anything you need to do?
Yes.
There is?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just for now, if you let go of the word or the label pressure, how would that thing feel then?
Just something that's simply happening.
So would you allow it to be just simply happening?
Yes.
And would you just be open to letting things unfold as they do? And know that it's all okay.
Yes.
So how is it now?
Like chaotic or disorganized. Too many things going on.
Mm-hmm. So could that be just seen as something that's how it feels?
Yes.
And could you let go of expecting that to mean trouble?
Yes.
And if you knew that things just happen as they do, would you have to stress about if there were many things happening? If it wasn't up to you to make them perfect?
No, but since there's a wanting to control, wanting security and separation, it makes
Yes.
it more, yeah.
So could you welcome all those ones?
Yes.
And could you just let them go as best you can?
Yes.
And would you be open to allowing the future or the life unfold as it does perfectly, even when the mind disagrees?
Yes.
And when you think about those things, how does it feel?
Feels like less of a challenge and more of just something that's just unfolding.
Good. So would you just allow it to keep unfolding?
Yes.
Good. Is it good for now? Or
No, I feel like there's still like some mental or emotional type of pressure or maybe stress that is still there, I think.
mm-hmm. And would you just notice that? Give it all the space it needs?
Yes.
And is there any wanting to change that it is there or how it feels?
Yes. Wanting to change.
Mm. And could you let go of wanting to change that?
Yes.
And then would you just notice how everything is just happening? And how that includes the occasional wanting to change things.
Kind of a problem, because they live from upstate. Well, not really. We would be able to compensate.
Yes.
And would you just trust the all to be there to take care of it all? And notice how that stress, or thing you call stress, is just something that also comes and goes.
Boston on this. After another night. Oh, it was weird. I thought that was by that. I'm very close to that. Why? Oh, all right. I feel I got family that has been born here and family.
Yes.
And looking at every family, right? That's how it is.
And would you just allow yourself to lean back to the all? And trust that all is unfolding as it should.
Well, yeah. Kind of. I know.
Yes.
Good. And how does it feel now?
Feels better, not as charged.
Good. Good. And you can continue releasing if it feels more charged. It is only a feeling, not the truth. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. So we would still have time for some quick facilitating, or then we could do a group release. So maybe we'll do a group release at the end of this. And I think one thing that's common in all of our things we want to release about is that there's something in our lives that we resist and would like to be different. So let's do a release about wanting to change the way things are. So first, just sit back and let yourself be. And then think about something in your life that you don't really like, something you resist or wish was different. And just notice whatever that brings up. And if you're feeling quite nice now, it doesn't have to be anything serious. Don't have to dig up for anything, but just notice whatever rises up in this moment. And then what you notice, if there's any sense that it's really personal, it's your life, your challenge. And if there's any sense that you know how things should be. And if there is, just welcome that. And then could you let go of thinking that you know how life should unfold? And would you let go of that? And when? And then again, think about that thing that's kind of annoying, that you would want to be different somehow. And notice how important it feels that it should change. And then, could you let go of wanting it to be different? And would you let go of wanting it to be different? And when? And then again, notice the thing that a moment ago you thought should be different. And then see if you can still remember how you thought it really should be different. If you can still remember how that thing bothered you. And if there's any sense that you are going to want it to be different again, that thing will start bothering you again, even if it doesn't right now, could you let go of expecting that thing to return? Of expecting that thing to bother you again? And then notice if there's any sense that you know how things will unfold and it will be something you don't like. And would you let go of expecting trouble? And would you let go of thinking expecting trouble would somehow help you or be more realistic or more wise? And would you notice how that expecting trouble is just a thought? And would you allow that thought to just dissolve and pass, melt? And notice all the peace and space and acceptance that is already here. And let yourself open up to that peace and space and acceptance. And notice how that peace and space and acceptance include everything. Even those thoughts you don't like, those feelings you don't like. And how it includes this moment, however it is unfolding. And notice how there's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go for that peace and acceptance to be here. And open up to the peace and love and acceptance some more. And let them fill you up. And notice how the peace and love are always here in you. How they are you, even when the mind might disagree. Good. Thank you, everyone. This was a pleasure. I'm really happy that you all came. Really happy to be here.
Thank you, Katja.
Thank you, Katja.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if anybody wanted to work with you one-on-one, how would they go about doing that, if I might ask?
Yes, you may ask. You can contact me through WhatsApp. I'm in that group where Stephen announces this call. You can find me through there and we can take it from there. Lovely. Next week, I think it's Status who's continuing, but
Yes.
this was lovely. Okay.
Thank you so much, Katja.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Katja.
everybody.
Thank you. Lovely meeting you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just to
Thank
say, Stathis and I hope to have a support call tomorrow at 4 p.m. GMT, which but we'll post it on the Sedona Method group, and